Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Christy Van with Fantastic Finances, and on this channel I teach Velocity Banking. So today I am going to talk a little bit about fear. I'm getting a lot of comments, a lot of emails, people saying that they're afraid. They're afraid to use Velocity Banking for one reason or another. They'll say things like, well, what if I transfer money into my credit card and they cut my limits? What if I transfer my debt into my HELOC, the market falls, and then they cut my limits, they freeze the account, or they call it? What if you're walking down the street and you trip over a rock and you fall and you skin your knee and your face falls in dog vomit and you get it in your mouth and you like the way it tastes? What if? There's so many what ifs out there. What if you get in your car right now and you drive down the road and you have a wreck? What if you get a loan and you're not able to make the payments because you lose your job? There's a lot of what ifs, right? I had the same problem when I first started, as I thought, well, what if I put my income into this credit card and something happens that I can't use it and I lose my money? That's why I suggest smaller payments throughout the week go onto your credit card instead of doing major chunks right now, because we don't want that what if they cut my limit to actually happen. And because of the economy's instability right now, that is very likely to happen, especially if you've been running those credit cards at the limit. So do be careful with that. Smaller payments, whether that be $20 a day, $100 every other day, whatever you can put onto that credit card throughout the week, as long as you're meeting the amount they want paid on the due date, then it's going to be fine if you make smaller multiple payments throughout the month. So do take care of your lines, do protect yourself. Can the banks freeze your HELOCs in the event of a market fall? Absolutely. So it is important that you're very aware these things can happen, but at the same time, don't load up your HELOC. Let's just keep it at an amount that in the event that they were to freeze it, then you're okay. You still have some funds available in credit elsewhere. That's what's important, is having multiple lines of credit, so that if you are using your HELOC for your debt, you're not loading it up. And you'll have other resources in the event you need emergency money for car repairs or whatever. I appreciate the fear, but I just don't think that it should stop us. So when I think of fear, this is what comes to my mind. False evidence appearing real. We could be fearful about everything, but until we have something right in front of us to deal with, fear is nothing but a demon sent to torture us. I choose to move in faith, and in the event we have a market crash and the HELOCs get frozen, then we'll be prepared with other lines of credit, like I stated earlier, to move forward with those lines. I haven't seen a HELOC or credit cards frozen. I have seen credit cards have the limits cut, but there are other avenues. So don't stress out over the what ifs. Let's move forward to get your debt down. Then, if something like this happens, then guess what? You're going to be prepared because you're going to have less debt that you have to worry about. That's why it's so important that we get started now. Jump in, let's do this, get the debt knocked down, then prepare to live in peace in the event we do have something happen with the economy that causes a crash or whatever. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is transferring a car loan into a PLOC, a personal line of credit. This person has an income of $2,200 a month. Her expenses are $1,602 a month with a cash flow of $548 a month. Her only debts are her car and her credit card, which serves as a PLOC. Now, how does it serve as a PLOC? Well, this credit card is linked to her checking account, so she is able to transfer funds back and forth without any fees. If you have a credit card where your checking account currently is, see if you too can't get in on that. Link your accounts, then use the credit card as your PLOC. So all of her income can go into here and all of her expenses can come out. That cannot happen with regular credit cards like Chase, Citi, etc. if you have a credit card where your current checking account is, you can ask if you can get a link where it's set up sort of like an overdraft protection, but there's no fees to use the credit card in this manner. I have one myself with my credit union. That being said, let's talk about transferring this car loan into this credit card. The credit card total limit is $15,000. She currently has $1,489 as a balance on the credit card. She currently has $13,511 available on this credit card. So that is how we're going to transfer the car loan into this credit card. So $13,122 plus the $1,489 balance that she already has. That will make her balance $14,611. So now that all of the debt is in this PLOC, what do we do? Well, we're going to start transferring the income into the PLOC, which does what? It satisfies this payment, and this one is gone, right? So now her cash flow has increased. She had a cash flow of $548. Now we're going to add $452. Then we're going to add the $50 for this payment that will be satisfied as soon as we do the transfer into this PLOC every paycheck. So $1,050 is now her total cash flow. Her expenses were $1,602. We're going to get to subtract out the $452 and the $50 because they're satisfied. So that means that her expenses are now $1,100 a month. That is what will come out of this PLOC every month. So this person shares rent with someone, so the $1,100 will include her rent and food and car, gas, whatever, okay? Okay, so her income of $2,200 will go in to this PLOC, bringing her to $12,411. Her expenses, of course, are going to have to come back out. So we said her expenses are $1,100 a month now. For total expenses, she's up to $13,511. So now we have to add some interest, and this account has a 14% interest rate. So that means that her interest charge for the first month off of the high balance now will be about $171. So let's add that in there. So she's at $13,682 in month 2. She's going to do it again. $2,200 of income goes in month 2. That brings her down to $11,482. Let's add in her expenses again at $1,100. Plus, we're going to add some interest in here off of the $13,682. Remember, the bank's doing average daily balance, so it won't be this high, but let's assume it is, and we're going to put $160 will be the interest for this month approximately. So beginning month 3, the balance of this account will be $12,742. Her income at $2,200 is going to go in again, and this is month 3. Then we're going to add some expenses back in again, and let's add some interest as well. $149 for interest. $11,791 will be the new balance going into month 4. She'll do it again. $2,200 for income number 4. Looky there, she's down to $95.91. We're going to add in the expenses, $1,100. Expenses plus some interest, so approximately $138 in interest for this month. So $10,829 going into the 5th month. Her income for month 5 goes in again, bringing her to $86.29 for her balance. So she is going into her 5th month. The income has gone in. She's at $86.29. How much longer is it going to take her to pay off this debt? So if I take her income and subtract out her living expenses, then some interest, she's going to have about 8.5 more months left to pay off this loan, which means that she has paid it off in approximately 13.5 months. So I would say that's pretty good, wouldn't you? So this scenario shows us that even if you have low income of $2,200 a month and you have a good line of credit, that you can accomplish paying off debt as well. It takes a little bit of time to get everything organized, but once you get your debt into tools that you can use, you take control of your debt and you start paying it off instead of just making these monthly payments every month. I hope this makes sense as to how you can take loans, put them into lines, and work them down at your pace. If you want to work them down quickly, then use all of your cash flow in there. If you don't, then use some of your cash flow in there. But for goodness sake, use these lines of credit as they were meant to be used, and let's pay off debt instead of playing with making payments every month. These payments cost us additional interest for no reason. The best way that we can use a line is to put all of our income into it and let that sit there until we have to pull those expenses back out. That keeps our average daily balance down on the accounts, meaning that we're going to pay less interest charges. That's what we're after. We want all of our money to be working for us, paying down our principal amounts that we owe so that we can pay ourselves out of debt. We don't care to pay for our things, and we don't care to pay a little bit of interest. But when you're paying a pile of interest for absolutely no reason, there is no reason to be doing that. Not when you can use a line of credit to accomplish everything that you need to take care of. From student loans, to car loans, to personal loans, to mortgages. Keep studying these videos. If you haven't learned the concept yet, it may take you a minute, but your mind will start wrapping around what this concept means and how this strategy works. It was a beautiful strategy for me to use to get out of debt, and I know that you are going to have the same success if you just take a little bit of time to see where it is your money is going and how you can rearrange it so that you can put it where it's serving you. I am so excited that you guys are learning so much. I see the comments and it makes me so happy to know that people are finding financial peace. That's all it is about. It's just about getting you in a position to where this Christmas season you are going to feel great about any shopping that you have to do. If you rack up a little bit of debt during this Christmas season, you know how to pay it back down. That's what's important. What's important is if you have an event where you have to spend money, if you have a holiday where you want to spend money, you know now how to bring that debt back down. If we know how to use the tools at the bank, it's so much easier than taking out these stupid loans, these title loans that are just killing people's wealth. Put them in lines instead of these loans, and wow, it's going to make such a difference for how you pay off your debt and how fast you remove the debt. I am excited for you. I know that you can do this. I know that if you can just get used to using your line of credit and release the fear, you are going to feel like $1 million even though you may not have it. Being in control of our debt makes us have the financial peace that we're looking for. The truth is, the lines of credit are the easiest tools to use at the bank. The loans, they set you up for failure because you're paying all of that interest in each payment that you make. Let's start paying off debt. Let's start getting positive about getting out of debt. Let's get excited about getting out of debt. And for goodness sake, prepare. Because Christmas is coming and you don't want to be stressed out during the holidays. I want this to be your best Christmas yet because you know now where to put your money so that it's serving you and how to pay off the debt if you do accrue any during this season. I am so very thankful that you joined me today. I hope you guys have a terrific week and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.